Hello and welcome to this Adobe Express lesson all about sustainability. And today we're going to make a web presentation and we're going to give examples of things that are sustainable and things that are not sustainable. So to start with, I'm going to press the plus in the top left and I'm going to go down to web page. So to start with, I'm going to add a title. So I just click here and I'm going to call mine "What is Sustainability?" I'm going to add a subtitle, and for my subtitle, I'm going to put real world examples. So we've added our title and our subtitle. We can press the plus here and we're going to add a photo as our background here. So we're going to go to photo and I'm just going to type in sustainability. We get lots of results here. So you can just select one of them. This one looks pretty good. We can see at the bottom here it says scroll to start writing your story. So we can just scroll down and it's inviting us to add some more content here. So there's various things we can add. We're going to focus on two of them today, the split layout and the glide show. So I'm going to start by adding a split layout, and you'll see we can add an image on the left here and we can add some text on the right hand side. So we're going to give examples about what sustainability is and what it's not. So to start with, I'm just going to include a definition of what sustainability means. So I'm just going to go on the right here, I'm going to press add and I'm going to go to text. And I'm just going to type in a quick definition of what sustainability means. So there we go. I've put sustainability means treating the world in a way that protects it for future generations. So in a nutshell, that's basically what sustainability means. If I click on the text, there's some different ways I could format this text. So I could go for header 1 or header 2. They're two different styles. I quite like this one, this sort of quote format. I think that looks really, really nice. So on the left here, I'm going to add an image that goes with our sustainability paragraph. So if I press on add your image on the left, we can see I've still got some results here from my previous search. So I'm just going to select one of these. So there we go. So we've got our first split layout here. Now I'm just going to scroll down. It's going to invite me to add some more content. And I'm going to go for a split layout again. So to start with, I'm going to add a real world example about cutting down trees and planting trees. So this is a good way for your reader to understand what sustainability really means. So over here on the left, I'm going to press the plus and I'm going to press text. So there we go. I've typed in, if I cut down a tree, but I plant a new one, and I've put a little ellipsis here, and I'm going to press enter. So it goes on a new line, and I'm going to do an ellipsis again. This is going to be my format for each of my real world examples. So if I cut down a tree, but I plant a new one, it's the very definition of sustainable. If we cut down a tree and we plant a new one, there will always be trees, enough trees in the world to provide us oxygen and to provide habitats for animals and lots of other things. So if I cut down a tree, but I plant a new one, this is sustainable. Now what I might do is just format each of these differently. So this top one, I think I'm going to go for header 2. So I'm going to press H2. And then for this bottom one, I'm going to format that as header 1, H1. So this is kind of how it looks. It's almost like a poem. And I'm going to add an image on the right hand side. Maybe in the search, I'll put in sapling and see what comes up. So sapling is a young tree. So here we go. This one looks quite good. So this is our first example of something that is sustainable. But now for our next one, if I scroll down, we're going to add an example that is not sustainable. So I'm going to go for a split layout again. And what we want to think of is a practice that's not sustainable. So there we go. Using single-use plastic and then throwing it away is not sustainable. So I'm going to press add your image on the left. And I'm going to let's search for plastic pollution and see what comes up. There we go. There's an example of landfill that's full of plastic. That pile's only going to get bigger if we're not recycling things. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and I'm actually going to now use a glide show. So a glide show, it's going to ask me to add in a few different images and then I'm going to press the save button at the top. So I'm going to make 2 more practices or things that we do that are sustainable and 2 examples of things that are not sustainable. So I'm going to start with renewable energy. This one looks good. It's got wind turbines and solar panels on it. So for this one, I will go on to talk about how this using renewable energy is sustainable. I'm then going to go and talk about fossil fuels. Now, of course, the use of fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, this is not sustainable because these are fuels that will run out in this century if we keep using them as much as we currently are. They also release lots of harmful gases into the environment, which cause climate change. So I'm going to choose an example. Maybe this one looks good. This is people mining for oil. I'm then going to talk about recycling. Now, obviously, recycling by its very nature is sustainable because we're reusing something over and over again. So I might go for this one. Looks pretty good. The 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. Now, for my last point, I'm going to talk about overfishing or even illegal fishing, where these huge trawler boats scrape the ocean for all of these fish with these huge nets, and it's reducing the global population of marine animals. Here we go. This one looks like a good example. So there we go. I've got my 4 images. So up here in the right, I'm going to press where it says save. And if I scroll back up, we can see for each of these, there's a little text box, which I can move around if I want to. So this one, I think I will start on the left. So I'm going to press add and I'm going to press text. And I'm going to put my bit of information about whether this is sustainable or not sustainable. And again, I'm going to format the top one as H2 and the bottom one as H1 or header 1. I'm now going to scroll down, go to my next one. I might just move the box in the center here. And I'm just going to go and do my remaining 3 and explain whether this practice is sustainable or not sustainable. Once we're done, we can hover up here and it says themes. So if I click on themes, we can now choose a style that we think would go well with our presentation. And it will just change some of the text, the fonts and those kinds of things. So I think that looks pretty good. Now I can press this present button at the top. So there we go. I've got my title. What is sustainability? I've got a quick definition of what sustainability means. I've then got an example of a sustainable practice. I've then talked about the use of single-use plastics, renewable energy, fossil fuels, recycling, and a bit about overfishing. And I've just finished with just a little bit of text just to round off my presentation that says, what kind of future do you want for the next generation? So there we go. That's our presentation done. We could share it. Here we could share it straight to Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams if you've got an assignment that's been set up, or you could just press publish to web and press create link, and it will create a link which you can share with whoever you like. So there you go. That's how you make a web presentation all about what is sustainability and using some real life examples so your reader can really understand what sustainability means.